What's good, everybody? Welcome to episode 7 of the Killstreaks and Kickoffs Podcast with myself, Sam, Ruby, LOL Rubix. I'm back bringing you guys episode 7, a very exciting and eventful week that we have had so far. A lot of stuff going on in all the areas that we cover here. Obviously, we had CDL returning, the Call of Duty League Minor 1 tournament, so that was very exciting. We'll be hitting that, reviewing all of that stuff, and then looking forward at what we've got coming up here next week. And then we also had the college football semifinal playoff results. So we have a final national championship set. So, of course, we're going to be reviewing those two games and looking ahead at the national championship. And then last off, we'll be taking a look at the NFL here, the divisional round coming up, but then also taking a look back at the wild card round and reviewing all of those games here. We are going to be having two special guests joining us here on the podcast, replacing Nick and Noah. They were unable to make it or hop on this week, so we'll introduce you to them later on once we get to the football segment, but stay tuned for that. Otherwise, of course, follow the podcast on Spotify, of course. If you prefer to listen on Spotify, you can look up Killstreaks and Kickoffs Podcast, or the link will be in the description below alongside all other socials that you can follow me at. So yeah, without further ado, let's hop right into this. We got a big episode here ahead of us, so yeah, play that intro. Alright, so Minor 1 tournament of the CDL here. Let's get this bracket pulled up. I'll switch you guys over. That way you can see like a final look here at the bracket, how everything went down here. Congratulations to the Atlanta FAZE for winning this. This was a huge bounce back tournament for them here. So we'll talk about every single match here in depth. Obviously, I am going to try and go through it a little bit faster. I don't want to spend there's a lot of matches that we have to touch on, so I don't want to spend too much time on each one individually, especially these earlier ones on in the tournament. But we will get and hit all of those at some point here in some way or another. So let me go on ahead and pull these matches up here. There were a lot. We're going to kick it off. I think we've got Rocker beating LAG as the first match of the tournament. So let's head back over to there. That was on January 10th. Perfect. Got this here. So Rocker's going to get it done here 3-2 against the LA Gorillas M8 here, and they are just looking rough. LAG is they look strong initially in the series, went up 2-0, but Minnesota Rocker came back, reverse sweeped. They heavily outslayed them too. Rocker did. I think this one kind of belonged to Rocker regardless. They just kind of had to claw their way back into this, and yeah, I mean, I think this Rocker team is really gritty. I'll talk about them a little bit more as we move on in the tournament, because they had a nice little run here in this tournament that was kind of unexpected here. But yeah, that's round 1 there. Minnesota Rocker going to be the first match of the day and going to take down LAG. Let's move on to Atlanta FAZE here versus the Miami Heretics here, and I think the defining moment of this series was this Simp 1 versus 4 against the Miami Heretics. I mean, let's get this going here, but holy cow, this Miami Heretics team is just probably one of the worst that I personally have seen at Search and Destroy right now. Like, I'll let this clip play through, but just like so many stupid plays. Like, you've got Simp outer palms here on B-bomb, just like a sitting duck basically, and he just lines them up one by one. They come at him one by one. I mean, sure, he did hit a nice little grenade there on who was that? Is it Metals or Lucky here? Like, yeah, Lucky. Okay, so Lucky goes out with the grenade, but I mean, what is this chow here from, I think it was Real? Just jumping at him? Like, just sit up there, bro. He can't do anything. I don't know. It's like, it's so simple. They're making such simple mistakes, but it's like they're overheating in a 4v1. I don't get it. So, this was a defining moment here for this FaZe team. I think it was a huge momentum shift. Not in this match, because I think I guess they did get kind of slammed on this first hard point, but just in general, like those are the types of moments, that get a team moving forward, and as you can see, the rest of the series, they went on to win every single map after that there in the Search and Destroy control in the final hard point after getting slammed on the first one. So, yeah, I mean, Miami Search and Destroy is just terrible. And I don't see a whole lot. But other than that, I mean, there's not a whole lot else to say. Just FaZe like kind of slammed them on the control and the hard point, and it is what it is there. So FaZe gonna move on to the next round there. That was a big win for them, I think, after going 1-3, pulling up and beating Miami in round one. I think that was pretty huge for their mental. But yeah, let's move on to Optic versus the Vegas Falcons. Optic's gonna win this one 3-0. Pretty much no surprise there. First hard point was a little bit mixy, so yeah, I mean, that could have gone either way. It was kind of a bang out there at the end, but at the end of the day, Optic clutched up there, and then the next two maps were not close. I mean, Search and Destroy, you won by two rounds there, and then I mean the control, like they handled business for sure on that. So yeah, not a whole lot to touch on here. Optic just getting it done 3-0 against Vegas Falcons. They got a lot to learn, and obviously new roster here. Exnan did look good though. I did want to highlight that he looked good. So definitely want to wait on or hoping that Kicks can be returned into this roster to pair up with Exnan, because I think those are the two bright spots for this Vegas Falcons roster. But you know, obviously, just having a guy like Exnig going positive and nobody else on this team, it's not going to be enough to beat Optic Texas. They're going to slam you 3-0 in this one, and Optic will move on in the tournament to round two. And then last round one matchup here, we've got Cloud9 versus Surge here. I think Cloud9 just kind of slammed. I mean, they had the close S&D round 11 there for map 2, but Cloud9 came out, clutched up in that one, iced up, and then I mean the rest of them were pretty much just slamming 3-1 in the control and 250 to 140 in the hard point there. KDs were not close at all. I might have been wrong about Surge. I mean, I think I still picked in my bracket. We'll talk about my bracket at the end, but I think I still picked Cloud9 to win this one. But I thought Surge would put up a bit more of a fight, so I don't know. We'll see. I may have been wrong about this roster being a sleeper team. I don't know. But I'm rooting for him to make myself look like I at least know somewhat what I'm talking about here. But that's all we got for day one. And then moving on to the day two round two matches here. It gets kicked off with Rocker versus Toronto, and this was an upset, I'd say. Very, very shocking. I didn't expect Toronto Ultra, after being undefeated in qualifiers so far, to fall to the Rocker here. Yeah, just really did not expect this by any means. Yeah, I was shocked, and this was another reverse sweep, I believe. Yeah, Rocker won, Vault, Control, Search and Destroy. Yeah, so reverse sweep. I didn't even realize that when I was going through this. I didn't watch this match specifically, but yeah, I mean that's crazy. I mean, I didn't watch it because I just assumed that Toronto Ultra was going to come out on top. I mean, I think they were a pretty obvious favorite in this. So very unexpected. Definitely chalked my bracket. I had Toronto Ultra winning this. So yeah, I'd kind of written them off as the winner here. Rocker's just a gritty team, man. I mean, reverse sweeping here for the win. That's their second one of the tournament for both of their wins here. And okay, I did write that down. Okay, I just totally forgot then that they reverse sweep. But two reverse sweeps, two W's in this tournament so far. They're gritty. They hang in there. They get the job done. I'm impressed with how this Rocker team looked online, at least in this tournament. Online, granted, but still looked good in this tournament. So they're gonna come out and win this one. Congrats to Rocker for pulling up an unexpected upset here, especially to me, because I picked Toronto Ultra to win the whole thing. But we'll get to my bracket later and see how well that did. But yeah, let's move on to Optic versus Boston. This is I think it was a week one rematch between the two teams. Obviously, Optic had Pred back then in those week one matchups, but Luke played well in this series here. 1.16 highest KD on Optic for this match here. Really close maps though. Besides the control where Boston kind of slammed them, but the other ones were all really close. I mean, 4-6 S&D, 5-6 S&D round 11. 50 point, 60 point hard point, and then I mean obviously this first one went down to the wire, 250, 239 there. So really close matches here in this one that I think could have gone either way for the most part. But Optic ices up, wins both of the both of the S&Ds, and S&D wins championships, and they certainly showed that there, and a little bit of foreshadowing, felt it when they played Carolina there. But yeah, I mean, Optic gets it done here, takes the map 5 search this time. I think last time it went to map 5 between these two teams, and Breach came out on top in the search and destroy, but Optic's going to do it this time, and they will be moving on to top 4 here in this one. And then let's jump over to Carolina versus Cloud9, another 3-2. I mean, there are so many 3-2s in this in this game. We've seen it. I think I've talked about it on the podcast. We are just seeing a lot of these teams are on the same level, and it could be because we're still at the beginning of the game's life cycle. But we've had a lot of time, and teams have had a lot of time to learn this game, and I think still we're just seeing a lot of competition. I think a lot of teams can beat a lot of teams. We saw it with Rocker beating Toronto Ultra, who we might have previously thought was like one of the best, still maybe one of the best teams in the game, but yeah, they're getting the job done, man. These teams are taking teams down to the wire, and you love to see that as a spectator. When matches that you initially thought weren't going to be competitive are competitive between teams. Super exciting, but we definitely saw on display here against Carolina and Cloud9 here. Another map 5, round 11 actually, so I mean as close to the wire as you can get. But Carolina gonna come out on top with this one. They get a Neslo W here in this one. Both searches in the control, so great win for Carolina. Great series for TJ Halley here. Really close hard points too. I mean that went round 11. It's close maps all aside from this search and destroy where Carolina kind of handled them on Hacienda, but close maps altogether. Hard points won by 11 points and 17 points, and then round 11 overtime control. So yeah, really close map that could have gone either way. Did want to quickly talk about the Sib snaking. I think what we've heard is they bottom line or
Man up, gonna wait for
let me mute this. Bottom line of the snaking debacle here, I think they decided to give him or give Cloud9 like 1 day no scrims, since that was the precedent set last year. But I think going forward it's going to be a week without scrims, which I think is much harsher. And it is a fair punishment. I mean, for that snaking, like I'll run that back for you guys. That was like pretty blatantly obvious. Not even trying to hide it. Not even like give a couple pumps and then like, oh shit, I'm snaking. No, like this is very obvious. I mean, yeah, like so that's about the textbook definition of snaking, at least on what Black Ops 6 looks like. And so yeah, the community was not too happy about that. I don't blame him. And I mean, it ended up like potentially like he stayed alive, picked up scrap time in a round where or in a hard point that was decided by 11 points. So who knows what would have happened there? It definitely mattered for sure. But yeah, that's it, is what it is. I think Cloud9 got banned a day from scrimming, and they're back to it. But going forward, I think they're gonna be a little bit harsher on that now that they've established a rule going forward. So we'll see if that happens. I agree with that punishment and what the punishment should be going forward there. But that's everything. I know I spent a lot of time here on this Carolina versus C9, but there was a lot of stuff going on here, a lot of points I wanted to make relating to this game. But let's move on to the last match of day 2, Los Angeles Thieves versus Atlanta FaZe. And it's funny, I thought this was going to be the closest between them. All others matches go to 3-2 this day, except for this one between two of potentially the best teams in this game right now. FaZe just gets it done, man. I didn't expect it to be this close, I didn't expect it to be the least close, but it was. FaZe looked really strong in this one. I think they just kind of outmatched Thieves the entire series here. Not a whole lot to say. They KD wise, slang wise, were outplaying them or outslaying them and got it done. Like that showed on the maps for sure. So yeah, I mean, FaZe just looked like the better team here today in this specific match between the two, and they're gonna come out with this one and move on to top 4 here, or sorry, yeah, top 4. So yeah, FaZe looking really good for sure. Definitely, if you're a FaZe fan, you like to see that showing against Los Angeles Thieves, who many believe are the best team in this game right now. But yeah, they're gonna move on, and then we got their game next here of day 3, the final day, Championship Sunday. They're going to play against Minnesota Rocker, and Rocker going to take up to another map 5 here between the Minnesota Rocker and another opponent in this tournament. This time, they're not going to be able to get it done in that map 5 search and destroy. They kind of get slammed in it. So, yeah, I mean, that is what it is, but it's a great tournament from Rocker. Like I said, gritty team, looked really solid, but I think they just kind of met their match in a steamrolling Atlanta FaZe team at this time, and yeah, I mean it's kind of hard for you to beat a team like that. I think the Rockers still have a little bit of kinks to roll out or iron out, but I think this is really promising for them. If you're a fan of the Minnesota Rocker or one of their players, I think this is a really promising series from them. Still going against like the team that won the tournament, taking them to map 5 and making it a close series is something you can't hang your head on, and I think it's a very, very solid. It really could have gone either way. It goes in phases way. I think you're always going to give that to the team that's hot, the most hot, and it was something to prove. I mean, FaZe certainly had something to prove here after going 1-3 in that online phase. So they're going to get themselves in the final. I think they have that momentum, and Rocker just ran out of gas, and FaZe will secure themselves into the finals there of this tournament. But let's jump over to the other side. We've got Optic Texas versus the Carolina Royal Ravens here. And Carolina going to get this one done against Optic in another map 5. I mean, so many map 5s in this tournament here, like I was saying. But another map 5 here. Carolina going to come out on top 6-4 in that map 5 protocol search and destroy. They looked good this series. They won both of the S&Ds, like I said. Wasn't like, I guess, a true Neslo, but I think Dashy said it on the Game Chat podcast. I mean, red card hardpoint when it's going a time like this is so mixy. It's crazy. He said it's like a pseudo Neslo or something. So I mean, yeah, Carolina gets it done, winning both of the search and destroys. Optic did outslay them like pretty considerably in this series. But I think it's kind of just because of the kill discrepancies here in map 1 and map 3. I mean, green carpet, red carpet, green carpet for the most part, and then I mean, just overwhelmingly more slaying there from that. So I think that definitely weighed on it, but it's like also at the same time that can be skewing like the overall KDs for this round. But also like if you're outslaying teams so much on these ones where you get the wins and then it's pretty even on these ones, you gotta think you gotta think you take one of those at least. If you're buying yourselves 2 maps from just purely destroying them, and it's even killing elsewhere, you got to think that you pick up one of those other 3s and win the map, or sorry, win the series. They weren't able to do that or capitalize on that, and yeah, I mean Gwen had a huge map 5 here. Him and Shotzi were just kind of going at it. They were shooting each other's body and shit. So that was fun to watch. But Gwen ends up coming out on top, gets a little bit more help from the team for sure there in the end, and Carolina going to come out with this one and get themselves in the final here. So, yeah, very exciting series. Could have gone either way, like I said, but Carolina going to be the ones that are playing Atlanta FaZe here in the finals. But Atlanta FaZe, like I said earlier, going to win this tournament in the finals against the Carolina Royal Ravens 3-1. Again, not a map 5 there from Atlanta FaZe. They kind of shut it down, used that momentum, and really just outplayed Carolina for the most part on everything except for the vault control there. I think they slammed in hard point here, doubled their points in the Hasi map 4, and pretty comfortably won in that protocol hard point. And yeah, I think this was overall just a crucial comeback for FaZe, coming back from being 1-3 in qualifiers, and then to go 4-0 and win this tournament from like without a bye, because obviously they weren't at the top of that seeding. So no bye. They're gonna come in, win that tournament by winning 4 matches in a row, and yeah, I mean, huge for this Atlanta FaZe team, because honestly, if they would have performed poorly at LAN after like performing poorly in like in online qualifiers and potentially in this tournament, If they performed poorly at Atlanta, I think we might have seen like the first roster change of that trio, that Simp, Abizi, and Celium trio in a long time. So I don't know if that would have happened. I mean, it's obviously speculation at this point because we just saw them do what they know that they can do as a team. But who knows what would have happened if they didn't do well in this tournament and then went over on to LAN and didn't do well either. I don't know what would have happened, but they get it done. They get it done with dominance. So Atlanta FaZe will win this tournament. Congrats to them. But let's look at my, like I said, I want to check in on my bracket picks here, see how I did. Okay, I'm back. Sorry, I needed to log in here. I wasn't logged in. I don't know why it doesn't keep me logged in on this website for some reason, but I visit it all the time. But here we go with my picks for this bracket. I finished with 17 points here. That place, I think that was like 800th out of however many people, I don't know, that filled out a bracket for this tournament. So got 17 points. It's because I think it's because I picked this entire side of the bracket correctly, bar map count. But I did pick like the winners for all of these correctly on this side to get Carolina in the finals, and pick the perfect pass. So that definitely helped. But I wish I didn't pick Toronto Ultra to go to this way all the way through and win this whole thing. Obviously, I also picked Thieves over FaZe here, so this side of the bracket was kind of bad for me, and this side was absolutely perfect. So it net resulted in kind of a mid bracket, but whatever. Toronto losing chalked me. It is what it is. Also, I mean, I didn't really predict the Minnesota Rocker top 4 run by any means. So, yeah, I mean, I was completely off down here on this side and completely on up here. But yeah, that is what it is. I will not disrespect Rocker going forward in these brackets if I fill any or when I'm filling out future ones. But whatever. And then, I mean, yeah, I just kind of wanted to talk about the tournament in general here. Let's pull up this general bracket again. That way you guys can actually see. Um, I thought it was a cool addition to the online format. I think you know, it's a good idea. Doesn't hurt anything by any means. You know, it's more exciting as viewers to watch. It certainly makes online play like interesting and guarantees more matchups between these top teams, which we saw in this tournament. It also, like, it seemed like I was saying, with so many teams that can hang with each other, it makes for interesting matchups. I mean, let's count how many map fives we have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 map fives out of like the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So over half of these matches between teams in this tournament went to map 5, which is really cool, especially as a viewer to watch. You know, so with these teams being these closely competitive with each other, it makes for exciting games and matchups and fun to watch and makes these tournaments even better. So I think it's a great year to be debuting these Minor 1 tournaments. But there are a few complaints with these that I did want to highlight. I think it should be double elimination. I think that's what a lot of people have been saying about this tournament. I think single elim is just kind of cheesy for Call of Duty in general. So I think it should be double elimination if I had my way with it. Maybe, yeah, I don't know. I think it should be double elimination. And then another thing, top 4 only gets you 10 CDL points. Like, obviously no money. I like that. I like that, like, only winner gets money. That way you're really playing for something, and I think it helps with, like, it being an online tournament. You know, you really want to play for it. But, yeah, I mean, CDL points wise, like, why is top 4 getting, like, 10 points? Like, I don't know why that is. I feel like that's kind of stupid. I mean, Optic, for example, finished in, or Optic and Rocker here started it in like losers, I guess, losers no buy, and they won 2 matches and get 10 points, which is the price or the point equivalent for winning 1 regular league match. So it's like, that's stupid in my opinion. I think that's stupid. I think it should be a little bit more. I don't know how they would do it exactly. But they talked about it on the flank about how they don't like their conspiracy is that they don't want to make it worth more, or worth more than online play, because then that'll diminish the value of just their league matches, and they want their league matches to be cared about. So I wouldn't be shocked if that's their philosophy with it, but I don't know what's going through their head. Who knows? But I think it should be a little bit higher. So that's my thing. Also, I don't think there should be a 4-week break between qualifier matches ending and then this starting. Like it's been almost 4 weeks, and so for example, teams like Toronto probably weren't happy about this. Giving teams a month to prepare for this and get better, and it's almost like a whole new game. With how much time has passed, how many scrims have been played, and so I don't think there should be that much time. I know Kenny on the Game Chat podcast was saying that it really should just be like right after qualifier matches end, take care of all the qualifiers, and then run this little minor tournament there, and then go into the major and make it all seamless here. Especially, yeah, I don't know. So I think there should not be a 4-week break between a couple online qualifiers and then this tournament. But obviously there needs to be a holiday break. If you do it Kenny's way, then maybe you just have a break, a couple online qualifiers break, a couple online qualifiers, and that's a little bit better in my opinion, as well. So I kind of agree with that take from Kenny. But yeah, that's pretty much everything. Overall, I think it was really still cool and really fun to watch. I like it. It helps the online play. But yeah, I was happy with it and very entertained with it for sure. But yeah, that's my thoughts on the tournament. And then let's go back to pick'ems here. Last thing with CDL, I did wanna look at our week 3 pick'ems and what I've got here. I guess I didn't save them, but I think I wrote it down for this. Dang it, I wanted to write down my maps. Duh. Well, okay. Day 1, I've got C9 beating LAG. Ake said on the flank he's not picking LAG to win a match until they do. So let's go 3-1 Cloud9 here. I'm gonna go Optic beating Vegas 3-0. Same thing for Vegas as LAG. I'm not gonna pick them until they win a match in this, but yeah, and I've got Rocker beating Toronto here. I think Rocker doesn't go down 0-2 this time, knowing that they can now beat Toronto Ultra. So I think it still goes to map 5, but yeah, I've got Rocker coming out again here against Toronto Ultra. Who knows? They get an instant rematch, so that could go either way. Ultra could be super pissed and come out and just fry them. But who knows with that one. I do have Surge beating Vegas here. Like I said, I don't think Vegas I'm not going to pick them. I'm not going to pick them to win anything until they actually do. So I'm going to go Surge here. I do have C9 beating Miami. I think this is close. But obviously Miami's going to lose both S&Ds. So I'm going to go Cloud9 here. And this one. And then I got Carolina beating Boston. I think this one's close as well, but Carolina's looking good. I think they still looked good against FaZe. And yeah, I'm gonna go with them in another close one, another 3-2 here. And then day 3, I'm gonna go Toronto beating LAG here. Like I said, not picking LAG until they beat somebody. So and Toronto needs a win here, so this will be much needed. For Toronto, I'll go Toronto 3-1, and then Optic Texas versus LA Thieves. This one will be exciting. I could see a Thieves online slump here. I'm gonna throw that out there. I could see a Thieves online slump for the rest of this stage here. They probably already secured winners bracket being 4-0 in online play, so I could see them getting a little complacent. Maybe either complacent or trying out other maps or stuff like that. So I'm going to go Optic here in this one. We'll go Optic 3-2, winning this series. So I'm going to pick Optic here for that one. And then last match of the weekend. Yeah, I've got FaZe beating Rocker here. This is the toughest pick of the week for me. I'll give FaZe benefit of the doubt here for winning the minor. So I'm gonna go FaZe. I think it will be 3-2 again. Rocker takes them to a map 5, but I'm gonna go FaZe there. And let's lock these in. Those are my picks for next week or this weekend, I guess. That's everything that I wanted to talk about with CDL. Very exciting, and we're getting closer and closer to that actual Major 1 LAN tournament that is going to be so fun to watch. Finally seeing these guys on Black Ops 6 on LAN. Aside from the case on LAN, but that was only 4 teams. But seeing a true 12-team tournament here on LAN is going to be really cool to see. So I'm excited for that personally. Yeah, that's pretty much everything I wanted to hit with CDL. We're gonna switch over now to football. I recorded this yesterday, so I'm gonna be switch my clothes up, and then we'll jump right into that, introduce the guests, and hop into football. We yap about that for a long time. So, yeah, strap in. I will switch you guys over to them now. All right. So we are moving on to the college football section of the podcast here. We have two different guests for the first time with us right now. And actually, here, I'll switch this screen. We got the full three-man cam up here right now. I'm going to let them introduce themselves to you guys as the first two new guests to the podcast, besides Nick and Noah there. Neither of them were able to make it tonight, so we got replacements. No worries, we got them on deck. But go ahead, one of you, and then the other follow.
Yeah, I can kick us off here. First of all, thanks for letting us on the pod.
Of course.
I'm excited to talk some ball, but name's Owen. Some know me as Cheeky Plays. But yeah, just talking ball here. Antox, you want to get into it? Introduce yourself?
Yeah, name's Anthony. A lot of people call me Antox. I'm a big football guy. Big Ravens fan, born in Baltimore, so you know how that is. Yeah.
Cap. That is cap. That is
What?
cap. But, okay, well, yeah, so we've got Antox and Cheeky, better known as Anthony and Owen here joining us, and we are going to be talking some ball. We're going to be talking college football first, since we have a little bit less to talk about here. Obviously, we only had two games, Texas, Ohio State, and Penn State, Notre Dame, to review, and then obviously talk about that national championship game. But let me switch this screen over here to the bracket. We can see how it's looking here. It's pretty crazy. Like, just a couple weeks ago, this whole thing was empty, and we had no idea what was going to happen with it. I thought Oregon was going to win it all. But here we are with a national championship between the 7 and 8 seed. It's crazy. But let's talk about these games that led up to it first, and I'll give my piece, get it out of the way about the Ohio State game, and then you guys can kind of follow. But I always love to yap about this, and I'm going to do that real quick. I'm excited, as I'm sure every Ohio State fan is everywhere after watching that Texas game. Obviously, the final play was Sawyer there. The fumble 6, 83 yards. That was like a top 5 play in Ohio State history. Probably.
Electric.
Oh, dude, it was electric. I think everybody was going crazy if you were watching this game live. So, I mean, that was just a crazy ending. But referring to the actual game itself, I thought it was a really interesting game because we didn't really see Ohio State play the way that they did in the first two rounds. Not that like extremely offensive attack that we saw. I mean, they were triple teaming Jeremiah Smith, like bracketing him, and really played for him. But I mean, that did open up weapons. So it was really interesting to see like how this offense adapted to like probably the best defense that they played in Texas. But just in general, seeing how they adapted, they did also. I think a lot of reason for this score being close was they were shooting themselves in the foot a lot, like penalty wise and just mistakes in general. So, and that's what I've been saying it. I said it before the bracket even started or the playoffs started, that Ohio State, if they're going to beat themselves or if they're going to lose, it's going to be because they beat themselves. And they started showing signs of that in this game, and especially when it was still 14-14. We definitely saw that, but at the end of the day, they cleaned it up and made plays when it matters. I mean, the fact that they had the ball on the 1 yard line, down 7, and we turned it into a 2-score game, 4 downs on 4th down, is insane. Like, that's an elite defensive play, and so I'm not worried about the defense by any means, but I was really impressed with how they adapted to kind of not what they saw here in the Oregon or the Tennessee game in this one. But I thought it was a great showing. I don't know about you guys, if you guys watched or what you guys thought.
Yeah. I like how Ohio State started. The first drive, I think Will Howard was pretty sharp. He was getting the ball quick. Like you said, yeah, they're bracketing Smith. That was basically their game plan. We're not going to let Smith beat us, which is pretty smart, as he lit Oregon up. He lit Tennessee up. So he was able to get the ball out quick. I thought the first drive, he's finding Ibuka. Carnell Tate had a nice catch. G. Scott. And then, yeah, Texas, they have a good defense, like you said. They're going to make plays. But I think a huge turning point in the game is that Henderson touchdown. I mean, that's huge. 75 yards with 20 seconds left right before the half. You basically steal 7 points there, take a lead in the halftime, and then Jack Sawyer gets it done, strip sack, touchdown, ices the game. I thought the Buckeyes played well, and I think I like their chances against Notre Dame for sure.
Yeah, I would agree with. I thought this game was going to be a high-scoring game.
So did I.
But obviously, it did not turn out that way. I feel like Caleb Downs did very well in that game. I saw him making a lot of plays. He had an interception, then a few tackles for loss. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, on that, I think it was the third. I think it was the second down on the goal line stand. He it was him. He like flowed over and like slowed him down, slowed the running back down, and then Ransom, the other safety, came in and finished it off. That was like crazy. It was like watching sharks in the water. But yeah, I thought the defense played amazing, and I was really happy with what I saw from that game. So job's not finished by any means, but we got to beat the winner of this next game that we're going to be talking about, the Penn State versus Notre Dame game, and Notre Dame comes out on top in a much closer one, score-wise. 27-24. It was relatively similarly close. I mean, not to discredit how close of a game this Ohio State-Texas game was up until the end, but this Penn State-Notre Dame game was also very close. And yeah, Notre Dame comes out on top. First things first that I did want to say about this game was this was an absolute mid-off at quarterback. Drew Aller and Riley Leonard are the definition of mid, probably below mid, Aller at least. And yeah, they looked terrible. I don't know. They're not like, I haven't like been high on either of them. I know a lot of people have kind of been high on Drew Aller and say he has a lot of like raw talent. I don't know. I personally don't see it a whole lot, at least when he plays in big games. And I mean, big games is your closest comparison to what the NFL is going to be like. So bar that tangent regarding Drew Aller and Riley Leonard's skill, they were still able to, or Leonard at least was still able to lead Notre Dame to the win in this game, despite Aller kind of having more of a run game to rely on. I mean, both of their running backs for Penn State, I think, had like at least 80 yards. Yeah, Singleton and Allen both combined for 80 yards. So Aller was able to rely on that run game a lot more. Leonard had to do it himself. I mean, he had himself 18 carries in this game, but still was able to get it done once that clock hit 0. So I was really surprised with that. I mean, I knew that Penn State's run game was very good, but I just didn't expect like Aller to crumble while still having those weapons at his disposal with that. But only other thing I'll say on this game is it really comes down to like coaching wise. I think Freeman is a pretty solid coach. And I think I said it last week. He wins games. He wins these close games by out coaching the opponents. I think he did that in this game with Franklin. I don't know if you could blame it on Aller, but I mean, it's also a lot of the blame lies on Franklin for crossing over at 20 yards, crossing over the middle routes. In a late game scenario in Notre Dame territory. I don't know what the call was there or why he was throwing that way, or if that was like his first read. I don't know. But if you're James Franklin, you just can't let that be happening. And so I think Freeman just did a good job overall of out coaching him, not making those stupid mistakes as a coach, and I think that's why Notre Dame came out on top of this game. But your guys' thoughts?
Yeah, it was kind of like a weird game. I mean, because you look at the box score, it's like, all right, Penn State has their 2 running backs, both go for over 80. They hold Leonard to like 2 yards per carry. They win the turnover battle, and they lose. So it's just a weird game. And like when you're watching the first half, you're kind of just like, I mean, this game's just going to suck. It's going to be like 16-10, and they kind of got to go in the second half a little bit, but. Give Notre Dame credit, because, first half, they did not play well. They couldn't establish the run. They were just getting dominated time of possession, and they're only down by 1 score. I think it was 10-3 at half. And I saw Freeman had a halftime speech. He was basically like, it's a 7-point game. We get the ball to start the second half. Like, we're going to be good. And they go out, first possession on second half, get the touchdown to make it a 10-10 game. And then like you said, blaming Franklin there, I get it. It's not. It's not a great call, but if you're Drew Aller there, tie ball game, you cannot throw an interception in negative territory. You can't do it. It's just you killed him there. He killed him. And he had 2 other picks in the end zone that were called back. Drew Aller was horrible. He was, both quarterbacks, like you said, not very good. But Drew Aller was worse, and that's kind of why they lost.
Yeah, I thought Penn State was going to win coming into this. I feel like they've beaten better teams than Notre Dame. I think, who'd you say Notre Dame lost to earlier in this year? It's like Northern Illinois or something.
Northern Illinois.
Yeah, but I was kind of on and off watching this game, and I did see the end when Aller threw that pick. It was a not a very good game.
You guys see, he said he was trying to throw it at the guy's feet.
Yeah.
It wasn't even close.
Yeah.
Like, dude, just roll out, throw it out of bounds, or chuck it in the dirt. You can't say you're going to throw it at his feet and the guy catches it at head level. That play was brutal. Mitch Jeter, though, clutched up, game winner.
Yeah.
Notre Dame versus Ohio State in the Natty. I'll go ahead and give my prediction here. Or I guess I'll start with keys to win for Notre Dame. Notre Dame is going to have to get off to a fast start because if they get down to Ohio State, that's a problem because you got JT, you got Sawyer off the edges for Ohio State. Ohio State is good defense. They hit hard, they're fast, and Notre Dame is not a passing team. They want to run the ball with Price. They want to run the ball with Love, run the ball with Leonard, couple option plays. They don't want to pass the ball. So if you're Notre Dame, you got to find a way to get out and get a lead or at least keep it close so you can play the game how you want to play. And they're going to have to force some turnovers, whether that be get pressure off the edge with a couple strip sacks. They're going to have to mix up the coverages on Will Howard, try and fool him. But, they're going to have to make some plays. But I just think Ohio State is too explosive. I'm going to go Ohio State 28, Notre Dame 7.
Damn. Damn.
Anthony, you can give your predictions next, and I'll wrap it up.
Okay. I'm going Ohio State. I don't think it'll be close. I feel like there's too much going on with OSU. Even when Texas, you said triple coverage, double coverage, Jeremiah Smith, there's just a whole nother aspect to their team. I don't think Notre Dame's going to be able to do anything. I'll do a score prediction then. I'll do Ohio State 31, Notre Dame 21.
Oh.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. Yeah. I'm kind of in the same boat with you guys. I'm obviously going to go Ohio State. I'll give my score prediction at the end. I do want to say, though, I don't think you can overlook Notre Dame. I said, they do a great job of managing their opponents and managing games. And so I think they have like some of the best game plans in the nation that we've seen so far. And I think if Ohio State comes out making a bunch of stupid mistakes like they did, they're in that first half or so against Texas, or that first 3 quarters at least against Texas.
I killed them on 3 straight drives. Let's start with the Henderson, and then the 2 drives after that, they went backwards on both of them, punted every time. So, you're right on that. They definitely can't kill themselves. If not, I think they're going to be in a good spot. They can win the penalty battle, control the ball,
Yeah, so, I think if they stay away from that, they're going to be in a good spot. I am really curious to see what Notre Dame's game plan is that we're referring to. You have to think that they'll go with a similar approach to Texas in completely eliminating Smith, because that's what Texas did, and they played us the closest that anybody has in this playoff so far. So you got to think they go somewhere similarly with that, but kind of like what Anthony said, I just don't think it's going to be enough with the other weapons. And if this Ohio State team is disciplined and not making those stupid mistakes, it's definitely not enough. I think they just haven't have enough firepower. Obviously, like I mentioned earlier, the defense is elite. It's the best in the nation. Notre Dame has a good defense too, but I think Ohio State's is literally on another level. If you didn't even think that was possible, it is. They're on another level. I'm gonna go Ohio State here. I think score predictions. I like 31 from Anthony, but I'm not gonna give Notre Dame 20. I'll give them 16. 31-16.
Right.
Okay.
So what we got 7, 16, 21?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Ohio State will be scoring over 30.
Yeah.
They did the first 2 games, and Texas they held them at 28, but that was just super defensive. They even scored that
Yeah.
much. Even though
Total's
one
like
was Sawyer,
46 and a half, I want to say. So yeah, I could definitely see low 30s.
So I randomly guessed them. Oh, I guess it's right here. The total is 45 and a half.
Yeah.
So, okay.
Yep.
Well, yeah, we'll see here for this game. If any of us guess that score correctly, I'll clip it and we can upload it everywhere.
Yeah, there we go.
Might have to place it down as a bet.
Yeah, for real.
Correct score, but
Yeah. But okay, well, yeah, that's pretty much all I wanted to hit. With college football wise, I mean, like I said, there's not a whole lot else that we can talk about until this game is played on Monday. And these were the only other games that were played since our last episode. So that's pretty much everything I wanted to hit here. All right, so now to jump into NFL there after a quick cut to get a bracket pulled up here in front of us. We had the wild card round results. I'm going to get it started here with the AFC and the Texans beating the Chargers 32-12 here. Stroud is my GOAT, man. You already know I was rooting for them, so they're going to move on. Play the Chiefs. I did watch this one. They almost had Anthony, were you down when we were watching it? And Keegan said they almost had 2 pick sixes in this game again, and didn't they have 2 pick sixes last year in their wild card
against
round?
the Browns, yeah.
Yeah, that was crazy. But yeah, I mean, I didn't expect the Texans defense to play that good, but they came out. And Stroud did his thing, of course. You know, that's my boy. But yeah, I'll let you guys give your thoughts on this game here.
yeah. So to be honest, I thought the Chargers were going to win. I thought they were playing better like towards the end of the regular season. I thought the Texans were kind of skidding a little bit, and the Chargers were favored on the road, which tells you Vegas, they probably think the same thing. And they probably made a lot of money because I was probably not the only one on the Chargers. But no, it's kind of a weird start, slow start, 6-0. The Texans haven't been looking good on offense recently. Stroud throws like a weird duck like pick on the sideline, and you're kind of sitting there like the Chargers are probably just going to slowly run away with this thing. And then the very next play, it's just a weird call. They run like Herbert goes out to his right. They got McConkey and Davis split out right. They got Quentin Johnson out to the left, top of the screen. And they kind of have Herbert like veer off to the right, roll out to the right. They have Davis do like a little out route. McConkey's going like a seam route straight up the middle, taking on the safety. And then Quentin Johnson on the left does like a post corner, but on the corner he's going to the opposite side of the field. So Herbert chucks the ball 50 yards across the field to Quentin Johnson, who throwing to Quentin Johnson is never a good idea.
No.
But now you're going to throw it across the field 50 yards, double covered. That gets picked off. The play right before the Chargers got a pick, and that kind of flipped the game. After that, the Texans, they were able to, I think they had like a 99-yard touchdown drive in the first half.
Yeah.
Stroud made a great play. There's like a fumble. He got it, rolled out to his right, chucked it across the middle of the field, got the first on 3rd and long. They end up scoring. And then I believe it was 13-6 in like the third quarter. And, you know, Herbert just overthrows McConkey, pick 6. And that basically started the downfall of the Chargers. Texans kicked their ass. I think they end up winning by 20. It wasn't really close after the second half. Pretty impressive win by the Texans. I did not think they were going to win, but yeah, Stroud played pretty well. Besides like first quarter, he got it together definitely for the last 3.
Yeah, I also thought the Chargers were going to win coming into this. What's crazy to me is Herbert. He threw 4 picks this game, and then across the entire year, he only threw 3. Nothing was going on with this offense besides Ladd McConkey. He had like 190 yards. And Herbert had like 240 passing total, something like that. So there's only 50 yards outside of McConkey. Not even 50. It looks like 45.
Yeah, I think he broke the rookie record.
Yeah, he just passed
He went crazy.
Puka from last year. But yeah, it was pretty bad from the Chargers. That surprised me. And I don't know. Yeah, Stroud looked like he wasn't going to do very well at the start, but then he quickly turned that around. Joe Mixon, he was having great carries there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, one more thing too. I thought the Texans defense played really well. I think Will Anderson was having a really good game. Stingley, he had a great game. He had that game-sealing pick. I mean, it wasn't really, the game's pretty much over, but he had that pick, full extend pick. Lassiter played well. I think I mean, we can go into the Texans Chiefs prediction, I guess, because the Chiefs didn't play here soon.
Wait,
I guess I'll just
save
give mine
that.
shortly.
Save that. We'll hit all the predictions for the next ones.
At the end? Okay,
Yeah,
we can do that.
Recap.
But yeah, shout out Texans defense. They I mean, they played well. Hell, the Chargers. The Chargers are. I mean, they're a good team. I think they had 11 wins. Texans shut them down. So shout out to their defense.
Has Herbert won in the playoffs yet? Didn't he?
No.
Yeah, he's had a few starts and he still hasn't won.
Yeah, they choked to the Jags like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
I think it's 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Damn. Oh yeah, the 28 to. Oh yeah, the high score game when they came.
Yeah.
out.
That's rough for Herbo there, but unfortunately, the Texans gonna be moving on here. Like I said, we'll talk about predictions for that next game, but let's move on to the next game in the AFC here. The Ravens versus the Steelers. Anthony, I'm sure, is very happy about this one.
Yeah.
Playoff Lamar looked good this time. He hasn't looked good in the playoffs in the past, but this game, I mean, he looked, quite frankly, amazing in this game. LaMarvelous, if you will. 60 for 21, 175 yards, 2 touchdowns, and his rushing stats were also pretty impressive. I mean, overshadowed by Henry's insane game on the ground. But Lamar still put up 81 yards of rushing on 15 carries, and Derrick Henry was unstoppable. And yeah, I mean, Lamar is looking really good in the playoffs, which was kind of the question point here with this Ravens team going into the playoffs, and kind of a catalyst for me personally in terms of whether or not I thought they could do good or not in this playoff. So I was impressed. I was impressed by it. But honestly, I'll kick it to Anthony here first to give his thoughts on this game, beating the Steelers 28-14.
Yeah, this game was probably the most stressful 14-point win in my life. Ravens started off really good. Pretty long drive. It was probably like 6 minutes or so. Went down the field. Lamar had a nice pass to Bateman there. Lamar ran the ball like 10 times on that first drive almost. Kept running the read option. And for some reason, TJ kept going for Derrick Henry. So I guess Lamar just kept taking it, but I was freaking out about that. Ravens score again in the second. Defense is playing good. Right before the half ends, Ravens go down the field again with about a minute. Scores with 2 seconds left. Lamar shifts around in the pocket. Looks good. There's a Justice Hill dump off pass. He gets in. And then the second half starts, and that's where it starts getting a little worrisome. Steelers string together a few short 3-minute drives that are like close to 90 yards. Russell Wilson starts slinging it, but the Ravens defense shut him down in the fourth, and it looked good. Derrick Henry played really well. I think that's the ultimate factor in this game was Derrick Henry.
Yeah. Not much to add. Ravens kicked their ass. I think it was 299 rushing yards to 29.
Yeah.
I mean, they just kicked their ass. Just absolutely no answer. Derrick Henry ran all over him. Lamar ran all over him. And really, it was closer than it was. I mean, Russell Wilson had garbage time stats. The Steelers got smoked. And one thing I'll add as a Bengals fan, TJ Watt did not record a sack, and the Steelers haven't won a playoff game in their last 6. So I just
TJ didn't record a stat like at all. He didn't have a tackle or anything. Like I don't know if you could see him on there because
we call that cardio.
The last 2 games, I don't think he did against the. I don't think he did against the Bengals either.
Wow.
Which is wild. I like TJ though. Everybody on my Steelers friends know that.
Well, I mean, he's not expected anything this year because last year he should have won DPOY, right? I mean,
he got absolutely robbed.
Yeah. So I mean, he's already done his thing here. He deserves a break here. But yeah, I mean that was a really great showing here by the Ravens, and like I said, we'll talk about what they have coming next shortly.
That game's about to be fire.
Yeah, for sure. But we'll talk about the other member of that game here. and what they were able to do this weekend. They absolutely smoked the Broncos 31-7. Noah was a big proponent of the Broncos being frauds on the podcast on previous episodes, and it turns out he was right. Yeah, they looked shell shocked in this, man. Josh Allen, great game. Cook, great on the run. I mean, this looked like the Bills were just like outclassing them in general. Like the Broncos did not belong in this game against a Buffalo Bills team that is like going to like a playoff Buffalo Bills team. Obviously, shit happens in the regular season, and games can be close, and sometimes you're figuring out other teams and trying new shit, and it is what it is. Once you run into a well-oiled machine like the Bills, in this late in the season in the playoffs, you're gonna see what you're really made of, and the Denver Broncos were made of straw, if you will. So, yeah, that's my thoughts on this game. But you guys go ahead if you have anything to add here.
They even tricked us a little bit more, scoring that long touchdown first drive.
Yeah.
And then after that, the Bills just dominated. I feel like that's kind of what we expected. Honestly, the Broncos kept it close for a little bit, and I think it was 13-7, like 4th and 2, and Josh Allen he just evades the defense, finds a way, scrambles out, throws it to Ty Johnson. He gets 2 feet of bounds, and after that, it was pretty much the game. But yeah, Bills Ravens, we'll get into it a little bit, but that game I'm excited for sure. I know Anthony's probably nervous as hell.
Yeah, I'm a little nervous. I was watching the start of this game. Bo Nix, he had that long touchdown pass, and I was pretty excited. And then once the Bills started running away with it, I stopped watching. Don't want to see too much of them.
Yeah, I think James Cook, 120 yards. Josh Allen had like 46. They just ran all over him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, just outclassed, but kind of expected there in this game. Let's move on to the NFC. We'll talk about those games, and then we'll start looking at the upcoming games here. But to kick it over to the NFC and look at what we saw this weekend here, we have the Eagles against the Packers here. They get it done here, and I kind of wanted Nick on. He gave me a bunch of notes here to read. He gave me a lot though, so I
Go
mean,
for it.
I'm not gonna read a whole lot. Just to kind of sum it up, his thoughts on this, because I did want to kind of hear what he had to say on this, because I mean, obviously, I'm sure he's excited that they won this game against the Packers. I know he wasn't really too keen on playing them, them being the 7th seed. Just because, I mean, they played them close. I don't know what that score was week 1 or whatever, but I think it was a relatively close game the first time they played them. But, yeah. But he said, to sum it up, the Eagles did enough to win this game, even though the offense was sloppy. He also thinks that the Packers kind of lost this game more than the Eagles won this game, and that turnovers ended up being the difference. He was not happy with the passing game in this one, which I think a lot of people have kind of been stressing in this, or criticizing this Eagles offense for their passing game. But yeah, another thing that we also hit on last week was how the Eagles don't necessarily need to rely on their passing game as much, just because they have so many weapons in their offense, kind of similar to like Ohio State at the collegiate level. They just have a lot of weapons there, and that's what Nick said here in these notes. So he's not too worried about the pass game. He said that the defense looked legit in this. He credited Vic Fangio for turning this defense around, and this game did a great job of showing that against the Packers. He also did what I mentioned, the Nakobe Dean injury. I don't know.
That's big.
Yeah, he said it's
he's out for the year.
Yeah, so he said it's bigger than a lot of people think. Based on his
that's
role
huge
in this defense. So yeah, I mean, those are kind of his thoughts on this. Here, our Eagles expert for that, but that's all I wanted to touch on myself. Was just relay what he had to say, but I don't know what you guys thought about this.
Yeah, the Eagles defense is really good. Like, That's why they're going to have a shot to win the Super Bowl. Their defense, I'm going to go and say they're the best defense. Them and the Chiefs, probably the best defense remaining in the playoffs. Yeah, they played really well. Their D-line was getting pressure. They're stopping the run. Linebackers were filling the gaps. Zach Bonds had a really good year. I know he made the Pro Bowl, and he's one of their linebackers. He was filling the gaps in the run game nice. The Kobe Dean had a really good game. And then on the back end, Cooper DeJean, C.J. Gardner-Johnson, they got Mitchell and Slay. Yeah, the Eagles defense, they're legit. And, yeah, they shut the Packers down. But I will say one more thing with the Packers. I think them missing Christian Watson's actually bigger than a lot of people think. Because Christian Watson, he gives that offense a weapon on the outside that they can stretch the field with. I think I saw a stat the other day. I think with Christian Watson and Jordan Love playing together, the Packers have like the highest explosive pass rate in the whole league, and without him, they're like 25th or something. So the Eagles shut him down. The Packers couldn't really get anything going down the field. Jordan Love had like 3 picks, and the Eagles. I mean, if it wasn't for that fumble the first play of the game on the kickoff, the Eagles scored 3 points in the first half, and it didn't even matter. Yeah, I was impressed with the Eagles defense, but it's going to be interesting to see moving forward how they shape up with the Rams. That's going to be a really good game. But yeah, the Eagles offense, they're going to have to get going because they did not play well at all. Jalen Hurts looked rusty. He had like 30 passing yards in the first half. So yeah, we'll see moving forward. But yeah, shout out the Eagles defense. They played well.
Yeah, I think this game was because of the Eagles defense. Just like Owen said, with their offense, AJ Brown, he only had a catch for like 10 yards. If they can get him involved more, then I feel like their offense will get back to where it needs to be. Saquon, he pretty much was the workload of the offense this game. Yeah, I thought Eagles were going to win coming in, but it was a lot closer than I anticipated.
Yeah. Interesting. NFC is always kind of a crap shot in terms of knowing what's going to happen when these teams play each other. I feel like.
Noah picked Rams, Commanders, and Packers, and it all almost happened.
Yeah.
Like in the minority.
Yeah, that would have been wild, but yeah. So there's the Eagles games. They're going to be moving on, obviously. And then next up, we had the Commanders versus the Buccaneers game. I was pretty pissed about this one, man. I had a parlay. I picked every single game right except for this one. So I was pretty pissed about that one. But it is what it is here. It was the closest game of the week. But like by final score, coming down to that final kickoff field goal at the end.
Yeah.
So was the closest game. I saw a stat that the Commanders have like won like 6 of their last games or something stupid like that.
On the last play.
Yeah. So it's like,
yeah.
It's like, bro, this close game winning run has got to come to a stop at some point for this Commanders team. I mean, props to them for putting themselves in these positions to win these games. I mean, that's not to discredit that by any means, but I mean, shit, like, if you're in those positions to, like, coming down to the wire to win these games, shit's eventually going to go wrong, especially against, like, teams like the Lions. I mean, we'll talk about that game, like I said, but once you play these teams that aren't going to let you hang around and get to those spots, it's got to come to an end at some point. But, I mean, Jaden Daniels been getting it done for this team, and yeah, this Commanders team proved me wrong. I thought it was gonna be Bucks, but wasn't, and sold the old lay. But yeah, I'll let you guys take it.
Yeah, no, this was the best game by far. I think back and forth, entertaining, but. Really, all I have to say is shout out Jaden Daniels. He's a dog, bro. Like, the Commanders are going to be nasty for the next 10, 15 years just because of Jaden Daniels. And Kingsbury's offense fits him so well. Like, the college style, RPO, get it out quick, run some read options. Like, there's multiple times in this game where they ran RPO. Scary Terry would just get behind the linebackers. He'd pop it over them, and they'd get, like, a chunk play. They were able to drive the ball down the field the entire game. They didn't punt the whole game. And that's happened like multiple times this game. They did against the Bengals. No punts and 0 turnovers. I think it's the 3rd time this season, which is unheard of. But Jaden Daniels is a dog, bro. Like, they 20-20. He gets the ball 4 minutes. He drives his team all the way down the field on the road. Rookie year, they win the game. Like, that's tough. But yeah, I mean,
seed too. Like, that's typical.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, but for the Bucks side, I mean, they just the first half they just didn't have the ball, dude. Like, Jaden Daniels and the Commanders had the ball like half the time, and then when they finally did get the ball, they were able to drive it. Mike Evans had a really good game. Bucky Irving had a pretty good game, but I mean, the fumble, that was huge, man. Like, that changed the whole game. Commanders were able to get a touchdown off that. That really was the big turning point in the game. But yeah, shout out Jaden Daniels. He's tough.
Did that fumble happen in the 4th quarter?
Yeah, it was the 4th. It was right after the Bucks defense got a stop on 4th and goal too.
Damn.
And I think the Bucks were up 4. So yeah, that was huge.
Yeah, I saw that play and then like Baker's reaction to it. But I didn't watch this game a whole lot. But
sick.
Yeah, just looking at the box score, I mean, the Buccaneers offense played well. Baker only had 3 incompletions and 2 touchdowns, and it looks like they played good.
They played fine. They just didn't have the ball, and like, that's credit to the Commanders. Like, if you don't punt, you're going to dominate time possession. They did. Yeah, it's not the Bucks didn't play bad. They just made that big mistake, and that's in the playoffs. That's all it happens. That's all it does.
Yeah, I thought Bucks were going to win that, but sadly did not. I'm a Bucks glazer.
Yeah, I'm a Bucky Irving glazer, so I mean, this is tough to see. Tough to see for sure.
Whoever has him in Dynasty is
dude.
Yeah.
Well, I will add with this game is I could have got Jaden Daniels, but I picked Jonathan Brooks in my Dynasty league. So
man, that's brutal.
He's the end of super flex.
Oh man.
Sorry, I got Michael Penix.
Yeah, well, good for Jaden Daniels, man. That kid is raw, bro. Yeah, that's crazy. He's gonna be good for this team for sure. But let's go to the last game here of the wild card weekend. We had Rams versus Vikings, and man, Noah called this one. He picked the Rams here. It was a little bit of a crazy pick, but it almost made sense. The more he talked about it, he convinced me a little bit in my head here to not be shocked if the Rams came out here and did their thing against the Minnesota Vikings. So this was definitely like upset of the week because they did their thing for sure. I think the Vikings also just looked pretty bad in general.
Yeah.
Kind of sold their thing. I think Sam Darnold just threw away any like respect in an argument for next year with like him versus JJ McCarthy. Like, he might be shipped off somewhere in the offseason because of these past 2 weeks and the way that he's played. So which sucks. I hate to see that because I hate JJ McCarthy and do not want him to get a starting job in the NFL. But Darnold just played like shit, and that's that. You're not gonna be, you're not gonna be able to. That's not sustainable as a team that's 14-3. So, or it's not acceptable for a 14-3 team to have that at quarterback and in the playoffs at least. Like, that's when shit matters. So, yeah, I mean, the Rams just came out, got it done, capitalized on a bad Vikings showing.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll set the line at $50 million that Sam Darnold lost over these 2 weeks because he's played horrible, and it's not all his fault. I mean, the Vikings gave up 9 sacks, playoff record, I think, tied for it. Yeah. I mean, that's just horrible. But Sam Darnold was just not good. Like, the dude has no pocket presence, bro. He'll look at his first read, and then if it's not there, he gets happy feet. He doesn't know where to go. He can't move. And, like, he can run, but he can't move laterally with the ball. And, like, he just looks like he's scared back there. And there was one play. It was 4th and 2 at plus territory, I believe. And he takes a sack. How do you take a sack as a quarterback on 4th down? The absolute last thing that you can do. You can throw it away. Chuck it in the air. Literally anything you can do but take a sack, he takes a sack. And that's kind of just sums up Sam Darnold these last 2 games. He's looked bad. The Vikings themselves have looked bad. the Rams offense, credit to them because the Rams offense played well too. They were able to move the ball up and down the field on a good Vikings defense. The Rams impressed me probably the most out of any team in the playoffs. They kicked the Vikings' ass, and Sam Darnold is very pissed off because he lost a lot of money.
Yeah, I thought Vikings were going to win coming into this. Darnold has played good all year. I don't know if it's the pressure or what. He's only lost to 2 teams, and it's the Rams and Lions. 0-2 against the Rams.
Yeah, the pressure was kicking his ass, bro.
Yeah, and this might be his first playoff start. I don't know. He wasn't doing very well. It doesn't help with all the sacks. I don't know. It was a pretty bad game for them. They're like the first 14-win team to lose in the wild card. Vikings have not done good in the playoffs in recent years. I don't know, but Darnold did not look very well, and the Rams did.
Isn't it crazy they won 14 games? I didn't watch the Vikings a whole lot during the season, but like watching them the last 2 games, I'm like, what the hell? The hell did obviously it was their defense, but like, I mean, Darnold had a good. He had like 35 touchdowns, over 4,000 yards. And the Lions and Rams basically just said, we're going to blitz the shit out of you and figure it out, and they couldn't. They got smoked. So shout out to Aaron Glenn. Shout out to the Vikings. And yeah.
Yeah. Like Darnold, we may have just witnessed the NFL equivalent of a Linsanity run regular season from Sam Darnold here. Granted, like, yeah, it was against I don't know. It might have just been a mental block against the Rams and the Lions. I don't know, but like I think that Darnold may have. I agree. And like he lost a lot of money with this, so we may have seen a Linsanity run here. But also, I mean, this Rams team, like you guys were saying, I was very impressed with, and I'd be scared of this Rams team. I mean, if we're looking at the bracket here, if I'm the Eagles, like they've got nothing to lose. They're the lowest division winner here, so I'm kind of. Yeah, I'd be a little scared of this Rams team. I'll definitely be interested to see how they play against the Eagles. But that's all for the wild card results here. And then let's jump back over to the AFC here and look into our predictions for these upcoming matchups and give kind of our thoughts on this and whatnot. I'll run it the same way. For this section of the podcast here, we'll kick it off with the Chiefs versus Texans. I'm going to just say my pick. I'm not going to give a whole lot of explanation into it because I kind of talked about like a lot of these picks last week and my rationale on them. So, but I do want to hear your guys' thoughts on it. But I'm going to say, just first and foremost, leading it off, I'm going to stick with what I picked last week for this matchup and say Chiefs here. Like, I just don't see any way that the Texans, I mean, the Chiefs are a different animal than the Chargers, in my opinion. And I would love for the Texans to win. Like I said, Sergio Stroud, that's my GOAT. But I don't really see it happening. So I'm going to go Chiefs here, but let me know your guys' thoughts on this.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's a no-brainer for me. I got the Chiefs. I think the Texans, their O-line has just struggled so much this year. And the Chiefs have one of the best D-fronts in the league, top 10 for sure. Chris Jones, Karlaftis coming off the edge. And then the secondary is nice with McDuffie, Bolton, leader in the middle. Yeah, it's just going to be tough for the Texans to move the ball. And then when they go on defense, they have to face Patrick Mahomes. So it's just a tough test on the road in Arrowhead. I think the Chiefs, I think it's going to be ugly a little bit at first. I think the Chiefs pull away, though. I'm going to go Chiefs 23-10.
Yeah, it's going to most likely be the Chiefs, though. I'd love it to be the Texans. It'll probably be the Chiefs. Mahomes has made it to the AFC Championship like every single playoff.
Yeah, every year he's played.
Yeah, so I think they'll be getting there again. I think it will be close. Chiefs like to have these weird playoff games where they get down by a touchdown or 10 points, and then they'll come back. I think this game will end within one score, 21-17.
Cool.
Chiefs.
Cool. Yeah, I guess I'll give a score prediction here. I think I could see it being ugly as well here. I'll go 20-13 Chiefs in this one.
I like that.
Okay, and then we've got Ravens versus Bills here. For the other
Game of the week.
end of the divisional, this will be the game of the week. I'm excited to watch this one for sure. That's what, Sunday night?
Yep, Sunday
Yeah,
night.
it's
Okay.
the last game.
Yeah, so I mean, rightfully so. Like this is probably gonna be the closest game by far. I don't really. You could go either way with this one for sure, just based off of the way these teams have been playing this year, especially here at the end of the season, and just like where it seems like both of them are kind of peaking in a way. So I'm gonna personally go with the Ravens here after just seeing how Lamar is. That was my, like I said, that was my question point for this Ravens team heading into this playoffs, and so I'm gonna go Ravens here in this one, just as my pick. But you guys go ahead.
Yeah. This game's going to be fun. Two of the top 3 quarterbacks in the league going at it. I think it's going to be high scoring, but the Ravens have Derrick Henry and the Bills don't. I think that's the X factor here. Lamar is just, when you play Lamar, you just don't understand how much of a threat he is until he just absolutely dices up your team through the air and on the ground. I think he's going to go back-to-back MVP, and I think the Ravens get the dub here against the Bills on the road. Give me a high-scoring match. Give me 35-31 Ravens.
I like those picks, guys. I'm extremely nervous for this game.
Anthony, all right, I'm going Bills.
But I have to pick Bills. No, I'm picking Ravens. It's going to be a high-scoring game. We beat them already earlier this year, 35-10. I know that was week 4. It's much different football teams from then, but our defense has only gotten better. I don't care how much better their offense has gotten. I don't know. The magnitude of this game, like, I couldn't live with the Ravens loss here. That'd be horrible. I think Henry is going to be the big game changer in this.
For sure.
Yeah, as long as we get a high-scoring game, I think the Ravens will win it.
Is Zay Flowers back?
Yeah, he should be back for this game.
Yeah, that's big.
I hope. If he's not, that'd be sorry. But I think we'd be fine even without him.
Also to note, correct me if I'm wrong, I believe the Ravens beat the Bills already this year, and it was like a blowout.
Yeah,
like 35-10.
Yeah,
so
earlier this year they beat him. It was like week 4, and Derrick Henry ran for like 190 yards, 199 or something. And Lamar didn't even really have to do much that game. The Ravens are also, like, in high-scoring games. We're 0-5 when we score less than 28, but 12-0 when we're over 28. So we're hoping for a high-scoring game here. And I think if we do that, the Ravens should be good and get the dub. But I am nervous. Last year, Lamar had a great game against the Texans in the divisional round, and then next year did really poor against the Chiefs. So I hope that Lamar doesn't get psyched out and he just plays like he has been all year. Ravens.
Yeah, I think the Ravens defense too is playing better as the years went on. They definitely struggled a little bit beginning of the year. I think they're starting to get it together. I think this game is going to come down to a big play and probably a dumb decision by one of the quarterbacks. And Lamar's thrown 4 picks this year. And Josh Allen has a tendency, when he gets down, he looks for the big play, and sometimes it doesn't work out. I could see that happening in this game. So, yeah, give me the Ravens by 1-score game on the road.
I'll give my little score prediction. I'll jump on the 35-31. I like that.
Yes, sir.
That's gonna be very nerve-wracking, but
I'll throw a third vote on 35-31. Fuck it.
we have to put money on it.
But yeah, no, I agree. I think this will be really high scoring. It's actually funny too with this game with me picking Ravens here. Like when we were initially like filling out our brackets, my vote was for the Bills here in this game. But yeah, like I said, just seeing the way that the Ravens are played, and I mean, granted, the Bills played the 7th seed Broncos, so I mean, they did what was expected of them. But I just think the Ravens answered a lot of questions that I had with them, and so yeah, I'll lock in Ravens for this one. But very excited for that game. Let's move on though to the NFC divisional here. Kicking it off with the Commanders versus the Lions game here. I like I kind of was alluding to talking about this Commanders team. I think this is probably the end of the road for this Commanders squad here. I don't think that like the magic and what they've been able to do recently here, especially against the like against the Buccaneers. I think the Buccaneers and the Lions are two different caliber teams right now, and yeah, I'm gonna for my pick in this game, I'm gonna go Lions versus Commanders. I'm gonna go with Lions here by not it's not close, I don't think. Finally, the Commanders aren't in a close game. I like that spread line for Detroit. So let's go 28-17 or something like that in this game here. I'm gonna go Lions.
All right, I'll go next. Man, everything in me wants me to pick the Commanders, but I think the Lions are too good. I think they've been the best team in the NFL this year. Their offense, best in the league. They're just too explosive. They're too good. I think the Lions are going to win. However, I think it's going to be closer than a lot of people think. I was surprised when I looked at the spread. It was like, I think it was 9.5.
Yeah.
I think the Commanders, like, I feel like people are just still sleeping on their offense. Like, their offense is not. I think Jaden Daniels could have a huge day on the ground. If you guys remember when Justin Fields used to play with the Bears, dude, he would light up the Lions on the ground. And I could see a similar thing here with Jaden Daniels with that RPO attack, him keeping it a couple times. And let's remember the Lions defense is banged up. They've lost a lot of guys to injury this year. And with the explosive offense like the Commanders, I can really see them staying in this game. And I can see this being a one-score game. I'm going to go Lions walk-off field goal, 31-30.
Ooh.
Okay.
Yeah, I want to pick the Commanders, but I think it'll be the Lions. I feel like when the Lions do win, they blow out their opponents. But I think this one will be closer. Jane Daniels, I think they will have a hard time containing him as much. Yeah, I think it'll be the Lions and probably a score of like, I don't know, 40-35. High scoring one.
High scoring.
Okay, sign me up for that game. I'm playing
All right, you hear Anthony. If you're betting, Anthony says slam the over in this game. This is betting advice.
75 points.
I'm betting on every player, and they better hit, bro. 40-35, 7 touchdowns.
Okay, well, yeah, okay. That's Lions Commanders. I am interested to see. Like you might be right, Owen. We might see like a masterclass here from Jaden Daniels make a statement as a rookie year. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see what happens here. I'm definitely excited to see for that game. And then let's do our last pick here. Eagles versus Rams, and this one, like I said, I'm scared of this Rams team for sure. If I am the Eagles, but I think the Eagles defense is just so elite right now. This Rams offense is good. Don't get me wrong. I think they've got great game plans, great attack with what they've been doing here so far. Obviously, I mean what we saw against the Vikings was very good, of course. But I think the Eagles are just going to shut that down like they did with the Packers. And I'd like to think that the Eagles do iron out some of their kinks with the offense in this week of practice here and game plan for this. So I'm going to go with the Eagles here. Probably like similar score. Maybe the Rams score a little bit more, like 20. Let's go 30. No, let's go 20. 27-20. Eagles.
So it's my upset of the week. I'm going with the Rams here.
Wow.
And this is my second favorite game of the slate. I think obviously Bills Ravens number one, but I think this game is really underrated because you got a top 1, 2, 3 defense with the Eagles going up against a really good offense in the Rams. But man, Matthew Stafford is so underrated. The way he can lead the offense, throw from different arm angles, and him with McVay leading the charge, their play calling. I think Puka is top 7 receiver in the league. The way they're able to move him around, different formations. Obviously, Cooper Kupp, who hasn't hasn't really had a strong end of the season, but he's obviously another weapon. You got Kyron Williams. I think the Rams are going to find a way against the Eagles defense, and the Eagles offense just scares me. Like, they just haven't been clicking. At least last game, they weren't very good. They put up 22 points, but like I said, 7 of those basically came from the first play of the game when the Packers gifted them the ball at like the 25. And the Rams defense has been coming on strong. Their defensive line has been a huge part of them having success. They've been getting to the quarterback. I mean, they had 9 sacks against the Vikings. I think if the Rams can get a lead early in this game, the Eagles are in trouble. I think the Rams, they want to get a lead and then be able to rush the passer. And I trust Matthew Stafford and McVay over Sirianni and Hurts. I'm going with the Rams upset.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if the Rams won, but I'm going to have to go with the Eagles. I think this would be a lower scoring game. Eagles offense has not been very good, and then their defense has done really well. I don't think the Rams are going to have as much success in their pass rush this time around, but I just feel like Jalen Hurts is not going to be coming out slinging it again this week. I'm guessing 20-17. Maybe, I don't know, but I mean, yeah, Eagles.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Eagles.
We'll
Mine's
see.
2017 Rams, so I like that prediction.
Oh. Maybe it'll be 17-17. It'll come down to a kick.
Word. Well, yeah. I mean, we'll see. I really would like. It'd be hilarious if one of our scores are correct here for this game, especially our one for the Bills Ravens game that we all agreed on. So yeah, I'll definitely want to come back and look at this. But man, we got some good weeks or a good weekend ahead of us here for these games. Even like Chiefs Texans, like who knows? Like that shit could be close. All of these games
I hope they win.
Close. I would love to see the Texans win, man. Sorry,
If
Keegan,
they
if you're
win,
watching this.
I think the whole world does.
The Texans win, the magnitude of that Sunday night game is going to be even greater.
No,
that means the winner. I'm not saying that, like, not counting the Texans.
You get a home game.
But yeah, you get a home game in the AFC Championship when you weren't expecting. You're expecting to go to Arrowhead. Like, your odds of going to the Super Bowl are so much greater. So I'm hoping the Texans win. If they do, it's going to be a very stressful night come Sunday for me.
So is that your picks, your parlay, Anthony? You got Chiefs?
No, I actually have player props.
Oh shit! Okay.
Yeah, I got it. This is the lock. I promise. Yeah, I'll put it in there right now. You see it?
Okay, here's the parlay. Here's the parlay we're working with.
Easy 10 to win 145.
I might have to. I might have to tail you here.
Okay, yeah. So
read off the legs.
Yeah, I'll get some reasoning. So we got the Texans and Chiefs. We're hitting Stroud for a touchdown. Last time he played the Chiefs, he had 2. Stroud, I mean, I could see him slinging one there. I mean, it's not crazy odds there. And then Pacheco, his line is like 41. I know he hasn't been getting as much rushing, but with it being playoffs, they always lean on to him in previous years.
I love that.
Stroud is slinging. Yeah, Stroud is slinging that 200. I do not care. He's going to get that 200. Nico going to be locking in. That's total plus 117 on that game. We got Ravens Bills. You know me, Ravens fan. Can't really be throwing in Bills here. Lamar, he's ran for at least 50 yards in all of his playoff games. I think it's really because he wants to win the game. He feels like he needs to do it himself. So he's going to run that 50. It's going to be a high-scoring game. So why not 2 touchdowns for Lamar? So we got those 2 there. Goff, he's going to sling for 250 against this Commanders defense. I think his line's like 270 or something. Not much to go off there. And then Saquon's getting in. He hasn't gotten past 2 weeks. I don't think Hurts is going to be throwing it very well, whether it be a dump off or a run in. I think Saquon's got that sucker.
I like it. What?
Me too.
So that's the official Killstreaks and Kickoffs Podcast Parlay of the week, multi-game.
Antox locks.
Antox's locks here.
Antox lock of the week.
Well,
you can take out Lamar 2 passing touchdowns if needed, but
I don't know. I like it. I mean, if it's a high scoring game, like
it was plus odds for some. It was like plus 104 or 105.
Him and Josh both were for 2 pluses, like plus 200. I like that a lot.
Yeah, I mean, if if it's a high-scoring game, which I think a lot of us think it will be, like I would not be shocked by any means if we saw that. But well, sweet. There we go. That's everything I wanted to touch on here related to football. We're at just over an hour, so that's kind of what I hoped for this, because I'll be talking about Call of Duty stuff beforehand. In this, I'll be recording it after this or tomorrow or whatever. But that's everything. Let me switch it over to our 3-man camera here. Hope everybody enjoyed the episode. This was a good one here with some new guests. I thought we had a lot of good points here, and this was probably our most like eventful week of the podcast so far in terms of shit happening. Like obviously we're down to the wire, the college football playoff, and then the NFL playoffs getting kicked off, and then relating to Call of Duty had a lot of good. I mean, we had the minor tournament that I'll talking about before this at this point, but yeah, really awesome week, and we will be back next week. I'm not sure who all will be on here. We're trying to get a like full 5-man on here for this, but just tonight schedules did not allow for it, so keep an eye out for that shortly in the future. Hopefully we can get everybody on at one point and just kind of have like a huge panel of shooting the shit between the 5 of us, but we'll see for that. Otherwise, I probably said it in the intro, but follow, the podcast is on Spotify, Killstreaks and Kickoffs Podcast. Look it up. It'll be in the link below as well, next to all of my other socials. Do you guys want to link any socials or anything? Shout it out here.
Talks FN on Instagram. Still, it's been a few years, but we're gonna get some videos out here soon.
My only shout out is lolrubix on YouTube. Make sure you guys hit the like button on this video, hit the subscribe button. Also, give us a comment, maybe what we did wrong, good, bad, need to change, should talk about more, should talk about less. Give us a comment on the video. Yeah, appreciate you guys for watching.
Word.
I'm out.
Well, yeah, awesome. Appreciate you guys. Yeah, leave a like, leave a comment. Appreciate the shout out, Owen. I mean, Cheeky, sorry. But take care, everybody, and we will see you next week. Peace out.
Bury me now, and I only get bigger, that's word of my nigga. Yeah, October firm in the cut. Stay at the top like I'm stuck. It's time giving it up. She wanna get married tonight, but I can't take a nigga, 'cause I'm wearing all white.